Hello, and welcome to this short overview that will give you some insights into how to take the two-part Workplace Driver Index and DISC-style Natural Behavioral Survey that Atul Patil has arranged for you to experience. Real success happens at the exact point where you're able to use what you know how to do. That is your education, your background, your experience, your interests, etc. Success happens at the exact point where you can take what you know how to do and it intersects with what you love doing. This is such an important consideration that I'd like you to remember for the rest of your life, because you have many days in the workplace and spending them doing something that you do not like is just a real shame. As I mentioned, Mr. Atul Patil of IKS has arranged with us here in the Maui Analysis Group in the United States to experience 2 world-class performance evaluations that will give you some very valuable guidance that will assist you to understand yourself. That is, what's valuable for you, what's important for you, the areas of human endeavors that do and do not attract you. And secondly, we're going to show you how you prefer to communicate those things that are important to you to other people. Understanding these factors will greatly assist you as you consider and choose the career path or career paths for the rest of your life. This career pathing survey is comprised of 2 separate and unique measurements that you will find very helpful in assisting you to understand yourself. The first one is called the Workplace Driver Index, and it measures the hierarchy or the relative importance of the 7 common human being motivators or drivers that we all share. And secondly, we're going to be able to measure your DISC natural behavioral style. These are the 4 primary behaviors that all human beings share. That is how assertive you are, how outgoing you are, how patient you are, and how compliant or detail-oriented you are. You're going to see these measurements in great detail based upon the results of this survey. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how you access that survey. You will have received an invitation from Mr. Patil or his staff to participate in this survey. Take a moment to read the directions from that invitation that will include this active online link. You can copy this link, or you can just click on it from your invitation or cut and paste it into an address bar. There's really no time limit attached to this survey, and remember there are 2 parts to it, but most people will be able to complete it in 30 to 40 minutes. Here's a really important point that I'd like you to embrace. Because the results that you're going to get can be so important to you, it's very important that you make your selections as you go through this process that describe how you really feel about each of the statements and not how you think others or society in general would expect you to respond. No one will know your specific responses. There are no wrong answers. So please be 100% honest as you make your choices, as it will enable us to help you, and that understanding of yourself will serve you well for the rest of your life. After you click onto the survey link, this will be the first page that you will experience. We want to invite you to first enter your first and last name and an email address, and then read this disclaimer here, and then click that you accept it. And finally, you'll click here where you will begin the survey. You notice that the 2 surveys that I mentioned, the expanded DISC survey and the expanded values survey, are both tied to this same link. This is the second page, And here you will see that you have two surveys, the expanded disc and the expanded values, neither of which has yet been started. You will click here to begin either of the links. The one we'd like you to begin with, just for continuity of what I'm going to share with you, is the second one, the expanded values or human motivator survey. And so you begin by clicking on this link right here. As you do, it will bring up this page, which is the online values assessment. And be sure to indicate whether you are male or female. And the only reason we gather this information is that in the report, it will say she prefers this or he prefers that. That's the only reason. And finally, after you make that selection, click on the Submit button. That brings you then to the first actual page of the Workplace Driver or Motivator Index. You see there are 7 items listed here. Each represents an answer to this question here. That is, well, of these 7 different books, 7 different articles, which one would you read first? Remember, you're entirely in control of this process. Click on the item to the left that is the best answer, the one that you would read first, and drag it to the top. And the way you do that is you just put your mouse on any one of these statements, depress the mouse button, and then drag it across, and it will go right to the top. You drag another one across, and it'll go right beneath it. Another one goes right beneath it, etc. And it ends up looking like this. These are the first 3. I just randomly grabbed these. The idea is you want to move all 7 of them from this column over to this column. From the one that you think is the best answer, this is the one that I would read first, this one I would read next, this one I would read next, etc., going all the way from number 1 to number 7. All 7 items, the best answer first to the least best answer will be last. And remember, none of them are wrong. It just depends on your view. And then finally, after you move the last one across, this Submit button will become active, and you click on that, and it will take you then to the next page. This one is a different question. If salary and benefits were equal, would you prefer the work of, and then you go across here. And whichever one you would like first, you drag it across. That'll move to the top. The next, drag it across, it'll move second. You can move them around in here too. Make sure you get them the way that you want them. So you're going to move all 7 of them. And then again, for all 10 of these, after you get them ranked, you'll hit the Submit button. So there will be 10 different questions, and you'll rank your choices for each of the following. When you finish that, you'll get this message here. Thank you for taking the values assessment. You can now close the window. After you close that window, you'll be returned to the home page from which you started that lists both surveys. This time, notice that only one of them remains active, that hasn't been started. This one has been completed. So when you're ready, you'll click on this link, and it will take you to the directions for the DISC, or the behavioral portion. So what we're looking at here is, first of all, to keep a workplace rather than a personal focus. So if you're not working yet, imagine how you would be in the workplace as you make these selections. If you're currently working, it will be easy for you to do that. Again, there's no time limit. This part will take you somewhere around 10 minutes to complete. What you're going to see is that there will be 4 choices. You're going to get 24 separate boxes. And in each one of these boxes, you're going to have 4 words. From that list, you're going to describe or select the word that is most like you and the one word that is least like you. So from each box, you're going to make 2 selections. As you look through this, you're going to say, well, which one is most like me? Which one is least like me? Perhaps you decide, well, I'm most cheerful of these 4 statements, and I'm least persuasive. As soon as you select that, the radio button will turn color like this. And you can move them around. If you change your mind, you click here, it'll move up. So this is really important. Focus on just one of them at a time. If you have any questions and you're not quite sure, well, what exactly do you mean by obliging? If you put your mouse button over the top of it, it will give you a set of additional descriptors that will help you. Here are 18 of the 24 statements, and you need to respond to each one. Here are the final set of 24 plus the 6 follow-up questions. So these are all pretty simple. These questions, it's either one or the other. So do you tend to be more directing or controlling of others, or interactive and engaging? So it's going to be one or the other. When you make your choices, be sure you click the submit button when you're done. So the final page, after you finish that part, it'll say thank you for completing the survey. And what things we want you to remember, there are no wrong answers. Your specific responses are confidential. No one will see them. So be as candid as possible. Doesn't matter what you think others would expect you to answer. Answer them based upon your view. The time and effort you spend here to provide accurate input can have a very positive effect for the rest of your life. This can really be important for you. And finally, I want to share with you that many of the graduate students from the world's most prestigious universities have not received the benefit of what you're about to learn about yourself. Make the most of this opportunity as you seek to discover not to change yourself, but to become better at being yourself. Hope this has been helpful. Enjoy the process, be as candid as possible, and I promise you, you're going to enjoy the results.